Hello everybody, good afternoon from Beijing. It's evening, wintry evening here. It's my great pleasure and honor to share you with some experiences that we had here during the past a little bit more than 5 years now. Those years have been really exciting and also been an honor for me to work for our country and the education here in this very interesting and huge country like China. I will show you 3 brief slides where I try to summarize in each of them in 3 points. First of all, why we need the Finland Knowledge Network. Secondly, how do we succeed in doing this network. And then finally, some points about how we did in China, what we have done so far. So why do we need this kind of exercise? There really are many countries, certain countries where the role of the embassy and government is very important, even decisive. Countries that are centralized or hierarchical or big in size, even huge, like China is. China is all of these. Like many of those countries that have been listed by the Ministry of Education, or actually all of them share some of these things. And I'm sure that this kind of officer can help a lot our stakeholders in these countries. Secondly, I think that the presence is very important because we need to achieve a grassroots level cultural and tactical understanding of the country. And this can be achieved only on site. We have to know what to do, where to go, who we should meet in these countries. And this kind of understanding cannot be achieved immediately or very quickly. It happens on site. It's constantly evolving and changing. The picture is always getting a little bit sharper and sharper. So therefore, you cannot do it by just visiting a country every now and then. You have to be there, you have to breathe the atmosphere, you have to meet the people and see what is happening there all the time. And then finally, in this first slide, I think we need to build up a network of public relations, and I see the embassy like kind of a networking machine. It is producing networks, it's producing contacts, but there's no point of having a network or link contact points if you don't have any relevant stakeholders to meet each other. So therefore I think that what we do here is to build up a network and then help our players and stakeholders to go into this network and to meet the right people. They cannot do it from a distance. We have to do it here and set up ready and then take our experts to meet right people. Then in the second slide, I try to summarize just in 3 points that how do we succeed, what are the important points to be considered in this kind of work. First of all, I think no wood burns alone. We say it in Finnish, yksinäinen puu ei pala. So it means that it's useless to have a counselor alone. One man can do nothing in a country, in any of these countries. A bunch of people is needed around. So I mean, so if I go, for instance, to meet somebody or some education commission, it's more or less useless if I don't have the next person, the next step in my mind, the people who can take the next step in this process. And in this, I like this name of this network, Team Finland Knowledge Network, because we need all these players that we have in Team Finland. Here, for instance, the support of the embassy and the Ministry for Foreign Affairs has been very, very important. Also the support by the home base, the Ministry of Education and Culture, and then all the organizations below these key ministries, Board of Education, Academy of Finland, Tekes and Finpro, Business Finland as it is now. They are all needed. But after all, it's useless still if the ministries by themselves talk to each other. We need the real experts, the real players and stakeholders of research, meaning higher education institutes and boards like UNIFI and ARENE, who are representing all our universities and universities of applied sciences. They are national players and they have a key role here. And also companies, they are at the same time clients but also partners to us, so they bring substance and expertise and understanding of the markets. Secondly, so we need this, let me see. Yes. The second thing in this second slide is clear-cut strategy and roadmap. So it's useless to look around and learn if you don't have any plan, if you don't know what to do next. So it's very important to build up kind of roadmap and strategy. But at the same time, we have to understand that we cannot get a clear and full picture in a minute. So it takes some time before you really understand where to go and who are the key players and what are the opportunities in this country. So it may easily take 1 or 2 years, even from an expert who knows the country already. So we have to be ambitious, but also understand that this is a process. But nevertheless, nothing will take place if there is no clear plan or strategy after all. And then the final point in this second slide, I think that openness to new people, areas, ideas, that is very important. For instance, in a country like China, you don't really know who has the real power, who has the real relationships. It's not always obvious, neither good ideas. So you have to look, you have to be open, your mind has to be open. Everything is, for instance, in China, is based on personal relationships. But you don't know when you meet the person immediately whom he or she knows. So therefore we have to be ready to meet and listen carefully. And then in the final slide, I say something what we have done in China. I think all we did here has been more or less based on the basic agreements we have been preparing during these years. The most important one here was the learning garden, Sino-Finnish learning garden agreement that we prepared 2 years with the Chinese ministry. It was signed under the premiers of our countries. And then quickly after that, we were able to establish the Joint Learning Innovation Institute, which is very unique a structure. 9+9 universities from both countries, altogether 18 universities, are linked through this institute to do research on learning, to make learning solutions and edu-technological solutions together, to arrange teacher training and so on. So this is something very, very meaningful. And another big scheme that we have been building is based on the agreements between UNIFI and ARENE to the Chinese counterparts like Chinese Academy of Sciences or Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. So the idea is to make first a national frame, and then under this framework the individual players can then conduct their own activities or even make bilateral agreements if needed. The second point here is about regional collaboration. China is it's a huge country, and the sister cities and provinces are the means for many areas in China to make international activities. So they really need this, and it's kind of it's their foreign policy, and it's a common practice in China. And a lot of money is actually in these provinces and provincial cities. So therefore we have to use this kind of tool. And there have been wonderful examples between our cities and Chinese cities, the things that they have been doing together. So this is a really crucial thing, and I think that many of these countries that are now shortlisted by the ministry have the same thing. And then the final thing here is that they're coordinating the things at the home base. It has been very important to coordinate our key players in Finland, and big thanks goes to Tina and all the colleagues in the ministry. That has been wonderful what they have been doing there. Without this team, I would be entirely useless. So this has been really great job. And also, I think what we did with this Joint Learning Innovation Institute is also something that is very useful also when we deal with other countries. So it's kind of pilot exercise where our key players learned to play together. And they are still in the process, but I think that we can utilize this kind of tool also in the future. I think I don't take more of your time, and I hope this was not too messy, but this is maybe key points that I was able to pick up here. Thanks.
Thank you, Mika. I think it was a very good kind of overview of the situation, what is going on there in Beijing. I know that it's rather late already in Beijing, so I'll ask the audience if there's any questions now, so that probably, are there any, if you want to know? So I think that we thank you, Mika, and wish you a good night.